with this holiday. What's going on, homie? Nah, you good. What's up? How your truck running?
I had to put it in the shop.
Did that clamp fix it?
So it ended up being
What's up, man?
it was fuck what's the name of it?
Was it the water pump or was it
No,
something else?
it was a metal component. It wasn't a water pump.
Did that leak continue?
Yeah. So it was.
Why you ain't call me back?
Cause I didn't find out until like 2 days later, and I still pulled up on the drive. It's crazy.
Right.
I'm like, open the hood. Ain't no antifreeze in the truck. Like fuck that. So I ended up taking the truck to the shop, and I'm waiting on him. He called me. He told me what it was, and I'm waiting for him to repair it. So I got.
Where was the new leak?
No, it was coming from the same place. Same place.
Right. We sat there and watched it stop.
Yeah. So it wasn't the holes. It was a crack around the lip of the. You know how you put the hose on?
Yeah.
It was a crack on a pipe of that, on the lip of that. So while we looking at it, and it's like it's coming from the hose, it was actually coming from the actual part. It was a crack on it, but.
Is it dropping down like it was, or is it like a gradual leak?
It's worse. Like now the truck can run without the throttle or anything. If you look from a certain angle, you'll just see it dropping down.
Right.
You just see it. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that came over time of, like even the driver. Like I had to get him out the truck. Like,
That's your cousin, right?
yeah, like it is what it is. Like, bro, I got this out the mud, bro. And you may be doing pre-trip. That's a standard pre-trip. Like,
And that's
checking the fluids.
It's funny that you said that because that's number one on here. First off, thank y'all for coming. It's a holiday, and a lot of people caught in the holiday spirit. I'm not a holiday person. For my own personal reasons, I was always in trouble in school holidays. So then everybody gathering together and you to talk. So I ain't really big on holidays. Plus I was always punished and all that stuff. So I know you on the truck. You on the truck? No,
I don't know.
What's your situation?
I'm just driving for somebody right now.
How long you been driving?
Well, this is the second person I started driving for. But
So you got a new
I've been
CDL?
driving for about 9 months, 10 months.
You driving.
Who'd you start off with? You've been through 2 people in 9 months.
Yeah, so I started off with somebody that had that private owned or whatever company, and they did a lot of different stuff. So they had tractors, they had dump trucks, they had tow trucks, roll-offs, whole bunch of shit, or whatever. And they were showing me how to operate different trucks and shit like that.
Right.
I drive manual, whatever. So when I first got with him, his intentions was to make me a driver and do runs, but ultimately, when he tried to put me on insurance, they tried to hit him in the head just to put me on as a driver. So
Yeah, that's what happened with he know Gotti. When he first was getting his license, I couldn't take him. I don't know if he believed me or not, but I mean we got a pretty good rapport, but I couldn't because with new drivers, the insurance go up so high, and insurance is one of the main killers without being a new driver. That's what we was just talking about out front. Y'all missed a whole lot. He been in the game for a while. He started off with box trucks, went into tractors, and been rolling. And
you work for. I don't care if you own your own truck. Whatever. We work for the insurance.
Yep, because they tell you who you can hire, if you can run. They tell you if you can even hire yourself.
I feel like it all depends on your insurance at the same time.
But that's the truth. But then what if you just like me, like a bullshit? I got bullshit on my FMCA on my score for checking for a flat tire, and that shoots it up. And then you go from, let's say like me, you go from $1,700 to $3,200 a month, $3,300 a month, $4,000 a month. Then you gotta run it. Then you got how you gonna do it and how you gonna do this. And then let's say if you're just doing power only and you want to get a trailer, then you gotta do that trailer, or you doing trailer interchange. Or if you want to do flatbeds, and then if you want to do a different type of flatbed, you gotta have this type of insurance. You gotta have that type of insurance, and then your insurance is just jacking up, because how you want to run, and then how you want to run, you might want to run for that moment, and then you might.
So
It's a wicked game.
I got a broker. I'm gonna leave you with his number. Call my broker.
And y'all need to exchange numbers, because really what this is about, everybody coming together, and it's not about the Sean show. I know everything. It's about, we all got different backgrounds and different connections, and all of us coming together and helping each other. And if you don't have that spirit, let it trickle down from me, because you become who you hang around. That's a good segue. What you was talking about the insurance. You was paying $3,200. I was paying $35. And my last insurance, I had to, prior to me finding out Wyoming, I had to put $15,000 down, because nobody would insure me. And the insurance prior to that took $5,000 from me from my security deposit, not the down payment, but the security deposit, because nobody would insure me, and so they needed the extra security for to guard them against unregistered vehicles. So that's a big thing. People having multiple trucks and only insuring one or two of them, and then running the rest of them without insuring them, because per law, if you have an active insurance and you got a DOT number, that insurance company is still liable for anything that happened with that truck. So what happened with me, I had a rental truck when I was getting my engine rebuilt, and that rental company offered me insurance. So I took it, but I didn't know that that would be a conflict with my actual company. So I paid my insurance off early because I wanted to get it out the way. Then I went and painted my truck and did a whole bunch of work to my truck, and was in the clear, took vacation and all that. The month before it was time to renew, when I called them, they canceled my insurance because they said they ran the vehicle check and they had an unregistered vehicle. So I sent them the insurance and everything, and they wouldn't budge because it's such a big thing right now.
Yeah.
Now that was an honest mistake. They could have gave me some leeway, but they didn't. But that's why I was saying don't pay it so early, because you never know what can happen in between that.
I'm on the last 2 months. Well, I'm on the last month, and mine will be up in February. So I still have to, like, I've been running without insurance.
So you don't got the 10 months and then two.
Yeah, that's what I'm on. I'm on the 2, but I didn't pay the last 10 months. That's what we pay today. And I've been running without. I ain't between me and you. I've been running. Of course. And because
Why you face ain't on it?
I just called. Let me get this. And matter of fact, I wanted to ask you, man. I had a big problem, man. I got scammed. Like, what happened is, I don't know if y'all deal with Russians. If you hear Russian
they got Chicago sold up.
I'm talking about
Vegas.
They cut and paste this. They get attacked with it. Damn,
listen,
they still
if you
know.
hear somebody that's Russian, hang up on them, because the Russians didn't pay. I dealt with them. They didn't pay. I went after that, and they took their shorty bond.
Yeah.
Then what they did is they took my MC number and called. It was booking loads. And
Your MC number?
my MC number. They'd call and just give them my MC number.
Right.
But they'd give them a different email.
Yeah.
And so they calling me. I'm talking about from 7 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. I'm getting 50 different couriers calling me. Hey, you picking this load out of Texas? Hey, you got this load in California? Hey, they are scammers. They are scammers. They are scammers. They got 1 or 2 loads. I think they got one flatbed full of nothing but forklifts.
Right.
And I'm like.
Well, that's the new mafia. It's not the Italians no more. It's the Russians and Ukrainians. I don't have anything against any nationality, but I'm saying.
But
that's what I'm saying right now.
how they did it. But and that's what they doing. And the only thing that I had going for me was my email that's on FMCA. This is my email. They sent them something that was similar, but it wasn't that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you didn't send it to me. And so how I would know is when they will book, say if they book it with TQL, they'd book it with TQL, but they'd send the rate con to the email that's on file. So they'd send it to me, and I'd be like, I didn't book this load.
Right.
And they said, I'm like, what's the email that people using? They were like, yeah, they're using a different email. We sent them to the email that's registered to cover ourselves. And like I got into it with one dude. I said, Doug, I called you and told you. He said, no, you part of them. You didn't call me and tell me. He was like, I talked to you. I said, man, I sent you a screenshot of my phone. And like they got a load from, and I'm like, man, you got to do your due diligence and see that, one, you got to call me, ask for a COI.
Why you don't come up here? So, because I mean, you going to teaching. You've been in the game for a minute. All this is stuff, you know. I ain't been on the road in several months, so a lot of things that's happening today, I'm not on touch on as far as that.
Listen. What they do is when they scamming, they'll call. They'll get them the MC number. When they give them the MC number, because now if you done dealt with, most brokers now are using RMIS.
Right, that's when you do the carrier check.
You do your carrier, so you're already set up with this company. So you're calling, and then you give them the MC number. These brokers are new brokers. They done got into the game, and so they're not doing their due diligence. They're not looking on a computer. Hey, what's your phone number? Hey, what's your email? Hey, hold on, I'm ready to send you a text, or I'm ready to text it to your number. So they like say your email is Sean. So they're giving Sean 37. Or say your name is SH or AWN. They give them SHEAWN 35. And you were like, look, brother, that's not my email. So instead of them checking, or they'll say, hey,
how are you getting paid?
I'm not. They're taking the load. They're saying, I got the picture of a Mexican driver's license. They'll go get the load, and that load gone.
They complete the load, but the driver who did the actually so like I got people.
You got people that completed it?
I got people who did the run and he was telling me. So he booked it off of that load board.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
It's numbers. Like looking at the numbers. So when they do the load, he calls me like, hey, cuz, how, you know, if I got this and going on, how can I do this and do that? I'm like, bro, I not even been on that side of the gate to even tell you, but he breaking the story down to me.
Well, he could have went against that bond, and they could have tracked it down through that surety bond.
As far as finding the money.
Well, the surety bond is there in case they don't get paid. They can start an investigation, and in 30 days, some of them 120 days.
I didn't know what to tell them, but that's what he was saying.
They taking the load. And they taking it to a warehouse and they unloading it, and you never saying that load again.
Oh, see, I ain't
hear when they booking it, like they booking, man. When I'm telling you, I done had, and I'll show you the emails from there. Like they're booking the load in Texas. You know, I ain't been there. You know, I ain't been to Cali. You know, I done spoke to you. I ain't been West Coast. They booked a load of Texas. They booked a load of Cali. Once they go and they get that load, once they get that, you gotta realize, let's be for real. We not really paying attention. These loads, even a refrigerator, they $75,000 loads.
And the actual product.
The actual product.
Yeah, not what
so you gotta think, if they get one load, that's a $75,000, $100,000 hit.
That's at least half on the black market.
However, because they get it, and then so I think they got one or two, and then they stopped off of mine, and then because I'm not even going to lie to you, I don't know how these people sent them an updated COI from my insurance company. So I'm thinking that
they probably falsified the documents.
But they can get it.
But I already sent them updated because at first they was brokers. The Russians at first was brokers, and then once they did what they did with the scammers being brokers and not paying drivers, they was brokers, and you gotta look at it like the one where I went in there surety bonds. They say, the lady said, I got 300 claims on that. You gotta think 300 claims at 25. Let's say a minimum $1,500 a hit. That shorty, they done covered that $75,000 over
A long time ago.
Right, and because they not paying us, and so you gotta think they got 30 days to pay us, or even up to 90 days to pay us. And within that 30 days and 90 days, how many loads they are brokering every day and doing and not paying drivers and getting paid for that job.
And then the factoring company will take it back from you. They'll pay you up front. Well,
Dog,
actually,
I got hit for 20.
actually, the factory
Only
company
give
not
up.
gonna pay you because what y'all talking about is different. Y'all not talking about
No,
brokers not paying.
No, what you saying is right. We'll put it with our factoring company, and then me and you got the same one. They'll charge it back. All together, I got hit for like 3 companies, almost $7,000 charge back.
I was telling you, Big Doug, when I was telling you about Amazon. That's why I was like, yo, some things just ain't worth going and dealing with that side of the gate or on the
They do that with Amazon.
Yeah,
Dude was talking about how the dude came and knocked on his window and said, hey, yeah, Amazon told me to come pick up this trailer.
It ain't no way.
And he was like, man, he pulled the gun out and said, you get away from my truck. You ain't getting this load.
No, but it happens. So what happens in that situation, right?
Hey, come up here and
somebody-
explain to them because
If,
y'all out here
if it's a breakdown, let's say I got a load and I breaks down.
looking good.
So it's considered a rescue. So it'll come on the load
Y'all
board.
talk.
It'll come on the load board it won't come at, so on Amazon load board is basically abbreviated like MTN6, BWI5. The locations got abbreviations.
Right.
Now when it's a rescue run, it's what they call the MAC, what they call the MAC numbers, coordinates.
Right.
So when you book in a rescue run, it's numbers up there, and it's basically the MAC coordinates to where this load is located. Now it's a 50-50 chance you'll take booking it because by the time the mechanic then broke down, he didn't call somebody to come out and fix his truck. By the time you get there, 9 times out of 10, that truck is in the middle of being repaired or almost repaired. So that driver ain't releasing that. You know, I'm outdone. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this running, and I'm gonna deliver it myself.
Are they paying y'all for the truck ordered and not used?
No, so in that situation, when you book that run, that's what you're getting paid for that load. It's all time. So they might give you 2.5 hours to get to that location. So let's say if it's a 100-mile run, they might give you 90 minutes to get from point A to point B. But in the mix of that load could be ready a half an hour early.
Right.
So if your gate time is 1 o'clock, if you got access to the load board, you can check the load status.
So people grabbing them too early.
People can grab it early, but sometimes grabbing it early is the best thing. But now Amazon is tightening up because it seems like they want to run off of hourly basics. So if they paying you $400 and this run is scheduled from stop 1 to stop 5, from your first load to your last drop, if it's scheduled for 6 hours, they're trying to minimize the time. So if your gate time is 1 o'clock and Amazon is military time, so let's say it's 1300. Pickup time is 1300. That's 1 p.m.
You telling me a 6-hour load only paying $400?
But that 6 hour
Or
load can only
you just
be,
saying hypothetically.
hypothetically, right? But that 6 hour load can only be 60 miles altogether. It might be 5 stops, 60 miles.
Right.
You might have an hour here. You might gotta wait here for an hour, 20 minutes. But when it all breaks down, they estimated that this run will take you 6 hours. They trying to minimize that time now because at one point they'll pay you $400 for a 30-mile run. Then you might take 3 hours on the whole 5 stops.
Yeah, they was paying $1,000 to go across the street at one point in time.
Right, but now they minimize like that.
How long you had your authority? He saw the good times when you was doing 40, 50 a month.
I'm gonna be straight with mine. I bought my first truck in 2015. I bought it from down south. It was a Western Star, a long Western Star. I had it. The mechanic I was using, and mechanics is very important.
And the mechanic is actually on this way. I actually just got off the phone with him.
They are making a break.
He's gonna answer all these questions right now.
So I was dealing with Lee
as well.
I was dealing with Lee when I first bought my truck, but Lee went back home, so I had to find somebody else. So the mechanic that I found, he ended up railroading me. So I end up letting the truck go. I came back and bought a truck in 2017, 18. The first one I came back and bought, that's when I still got it.
What did you do in between that time?
I went back to FedEx. So I was working with FedEx Freight.
Gotcha.
And when I went there, I went up on my numbers. So what I mean by that is, I went up on my 4K, and I was basically giving back to myself before taxes hit it.
Right.
So I was with FedEx from 16. It was a year and a half when I bought my first truck. I was with FedEx from 16 to the end of 18.
So you got to save a whole lot.
So I saved
Tax free.
So they was matching. So FedEx was matching up to 6%. So I had FedEx. So I had 15% coming out of my pay every week. So when I left FedEx in a 2-year time,
That was smart.
when I left them, I left with 12,000 in my 401k, and then I had 10,000 in my pension. But when they taxed it, it ended up being like 17 grand altogether.
Right.
And then I had a vehicle. I had owned my truck, so I had a BMW, so I sold it, and I ended up with like 27,000.
Which I'm gonna talk about later.
And I bought my truck.
Yeah.
I bought it straight out.
A lot of people saw attached material things. They put the business to the side. That was a very smart idea.
Because I'm gonna tell you what happened with Rich. I'm gonna tell you what happened. My wife left me to pay the truck, the insurance on the truck. So the insurance lapsed, and it was hard as hell to get insurance. So I was like, you know what? That truck ain't making me no money. I wash it, it look good out there, get me back and forth to work. But nah, I'm gonna get me a truck. And that's when I'm like, no, I'm gonna sell that shit. I'm gonna sell it. Like, I just put a brand new engine in it and everything. Like, I put a brand new engine in the BMW, like everything. Like, the engine was 17 grand, brand new. Put the engine in the truck and all that. Then turned around like not even a year later and sold it for $10,000. For 10 grand, I sold the truck for exactly 10 grand.
But what you sold it to buy made you money.
Because the truck I bought, it made me over 500,000. I mean, I'm still running it.
Yeah, and if you would have kept it, it wouldn't even have been worth 10 now.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
How much was your first truck you bought?
The Western Star that I bought, Alano's Western Star, I bought it from down, cause my family from down country, down south. So I went down there to look for a truck. Manning, Florence. Manning is a small city though. Manning might be like
I'm trying to think of the state.
5 miles long, man. Like you might got 4 exits down Manning when you pass them. But it's between Florence and Sumter. It's a small city. Like it's
North Carolina,
South Carolina.
Okay.
South Carolina. So you're about midway in the South Carolina.
You ain't think about going back down there?
Man, I'm going
just
back
down
south.
there?
Oh yeah, I'm going back soon. Yeah, I'm leaving here. Like my family be leaving. Like fuck, like it's not here. Maryland is not it at all.
I already know. I stay here. I don't live here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even
I was
grounded.
gonna ask you about that because I've been following. I give you the utmost respect. Like I tell you, like I'm a man first. Like you feel me? I've been watching you for a while, so when I see you, I know I could call you, and anybody that's willing to sit and talk to you and really guide you and give you information that don't even know you that speak a lot about you. You feel what I'm saying? So from when I walked into the spot and I seen you. What I say, whoa, salute, Big Dub, what's up?
Yeah, I was seeing the family ties coming at
like,
and you
like
that. And to piggyback off of that, not driving. I'm talking about life.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore City, we different.
Definitely, that's why.
I'm talking about. Yeah. I don't care. It's not that many cities that is as aggressive as ours.
Well, it's something out there.
It's some
It's some out there, but as of aggressive, I'm talking about up and down, Me too.
Like
and I'm talking about
small,
and we so aggressive.
Well, that's what make it
and
like
just
that.
even to speak, and you just don't know for somebody to take their time out and to talk to you and to say. That's why when people call me and they say Sean told me to call you. If he told you to call me, that's what it is. Whatever you need is a given because it's not available. It's not readily available in this city. New York, Chicago, Ohio.
No, there's some smaller ones.
No,
St. Louis.
I'm talking about St. Louis. Now, St.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville ain't.
Nah, go ahead, y'all.
Because
I'm listening to y'all.
I'm like them cities,
Sean show.
and I'm talking about. I've been all throughout, like Florida, and even like they even talk about Atlanta and all that. It feels for this city. If you was born and raised in the city, it's I know for me, when I was 17, 18 years old, when somebody spoke to me, it felt alien. When I left Baltimore City and somebody walked past, how you doing? Good morning. I felt right. just from someone speaking to me, just their natural. If you go down,
Even
if you
you
go
even
past,
look mean, you going down
even if you go past, even if you go past Virginia,
what's up, Roddy?
and I think Virginia. I'm talking about past Richmond. That's when that Southern hospitality, like that Southern hospitality was so alien to me. It was crazy.
And you gonna introduce your group? And I'm sorry to cut you off. He stopped what he's doing to come here. He the man of the hour.
What's up, man? How you feeling?
I told him. He said you told him that sitting to the people I was looking for and whatnot.